What's that? You can, or you can put it right on top of my bag.
I see you.
All right, Brody, you can get started.
All right, sweet. All right, everybody.
Hey.
The team, we can kind of game plan some situations for you guys, okay? Also, so while you guys all have, if you've got your computers and stuff, we'll go through and, I want it to be a very open kind of thing to where you guys can ask questions, talk through your problems, and we can kind of game plan together as a group, okay? Because no two issues are the same, and especially with businesses, we all have different processes and stuff like that. So to get started, today we're going to be talking about creating custom GPTs for streamlining your daily business tasks. We're also going to talk briefly on AI and some other models as well, because as you guys know, ChatGPT is not the only model out there. There's a whole lot of different ones that do a whole lot of different things. So, and we'll just kind of game plan through all those, okay? Does that work for everybody? Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So the rise of AI, how many people in here currently are using AI in their business? Okay, look at this. Like literally you guys basically did the numbers themselves. How many of you guys are using it for marketing services? Perfect. How many of you guys are using it for processes internally? Awesome. What about education for onboarding new team members or potential customers? There you go. I love it. So,
how about random questions?
Random questions. yeah. How many of you guys are using it to make dinner tonight? Taking a picture of your refrigerator and it'll build it out for you. So you see here, there's so many use cases, right? So that's where I really want you guys to really think of as we continue to do this. No matter what, there's a system for pretty much everything, but the main thing you want to focus on is your task at hand. If you can figure out the task at hand, it makes it a lot easier to figure out which system to use, how to automate it, and stuff like that, okay? So we'll be diving into it, but you guys literally self-explain this thing right here. The 24/7 itself is basically like chatbots, sales team members, just like automation funnels that you can do, but they're always working. So it just makes it nice that you can kind of automate some of those things, and we'll discuss that as well. Okay, so some of the popular systems in 2025, I want to very much notate that this is just a very tiny list of what there is. There are so many different models out there. Okay. OpenAI is one that's going to basically, it actually has a plethora of stuff which we're going to actually talk about today. But for OpenAI, there is the general, the task stuff. You can just ask it every day. There's advanced reasoning. There's task stuff where it'll send you a task every day. There's Canvas. So again, there are all these different models that you really want to kind of look at based off your tasks, okay? Google Gemini, does anyone, working with Gemini? So Gemini works specifically in the Google environment, so especially when it comes to Google platforms and doing the data within Google. So that's something you definitely always want to look at. Anthropic and Claude gets pretty technical, to be honest. I nerd out on this thing because you can build some crazy code systems using Claude and Anthropic. So again, if you guys ever get into the back end of your website and your web developer isn't us, just call us if you need it. But this is a great way to troubleshoot some of your back end of your website. Okay, you can basically download huge, long sections of code, throw it in Anthropic or Claude, and it'll be able to update that for you and just kind of interpret your data. Meta and Lambda, which is what it is, but basically it's just Meta's version of that system. This is actually an open source one that you can take into your own network and basically build your very, very, very custom stuff. So yeah, those, again, today we're going to be focusing on OpenAI, but again, these are just a fraction of what's out there. While researching this, we researched like 50 different platforms that would do different things, different services for you.
Brody, is there any that you would recommend over any others?
Yeah, so that was a great question. So OpenAI and ChatGPT, get the paid version. It's $20 a month. I'm telling you right now, the paid version is worth every single penny because that's how you're going to get in the ChatGPTs, the custom GPTs. That's how you're going to access other people's GPTs That's huge. Hello there. Good to see you. Hands down, it's tremendous. Like, so you guys know Google will go through and it gives you, some stuff. Imagine Perplexity will take all the socials, all the YouTube, Google, everything, put it into one outline for you. So for instance, we've been doing some like lead generation stuff, right? So I go into Perplexity and say, hey, give me the contact information for all tattoo shops in Chesterfield, Virginia that I want to solicit. And then on top of that, build out a onboarding letter for me. And then basically I was able to send, and I did this 3 days ago, and we sent out 15 emails, and it took me like 2 minutes. And Perplexity built it all. I branded it, and it was out the door, and we got a couple of clients out of it. But Perplexity is a really good one. So again, OpenAI, I think that's, you definitely need to get the paid one. But then Perplexity for search, and that's a free one. But so on the flip side, and I want to dive into this very quickly, but Perplexity and all of these, figure out where your business is showing up, because as things progress, Google's not going to be the main factor anymore. People are going to go to ChatGPT search, they're going to go to Perplexity, they're going to go to Gemini, and they're going to type in flooring companies near me, they're going to type in plumbing companies near me, they're going to type in roofers near me, and on the in June, ChatGPT 5 is about to drop, which is about to allow AI agents to crawl your website. So I'm going to be able to go on here and say, give me 5 quotes from different companies, and the AI agents are going to be able to go do that, and then you're going to be able to get, they're going to get the quote. So that's where this when you guys all raised your hand and talked about the different services. So it will write emails, blogs, product descriptions, legal disclaimers. Legal disclaimers, I will say, talk to your attorney. I do not just go through AI, okay? I want to preface that. But product descriptions and email blogs and stuff, on the marketing side of things, it makes things extremely easy to be able to pump out a large amount of content. That is great for us, but it's also great for your competition, okay? So you gotta understand that if it looks like AI, everybody knows it's AI. You know, you guys know as well as I do, those green check marks that it gives out, the amount of emojis that it'll put out there. Edit your stuff when you do this and this. So the more you prompt it, the better information it's gonna have. And then on top of that, what I would do, and I do this all the time, I copy my entire website and then I put it into here and say, this is our tone of voice. So it knows all of my services, it knows how I talk, it knows what we should be focusing on, and the call to actions. So when we did this for the tattoo parlors, it knew that we wanted them to schedule an online estimate, or like an online audit. It automatically did that, and it said all sorts of very informal wording because our website is super informal. Okay, so I just want you guys to really focus on that, because if you just say, build me an email, it's gonna build you an email, but it's just an email that everybody else here could do. So that's how you gotta focus and hyper-focus on your stuff.
How do you copy your whole website?
Great question. So what I do, and so I just literally go to the website, copy it. Like literally, you know, like you take the text, copy the text, put it into here. That's it.
How do you do that? Is there like a section?
Here, I got you.
Like the website address, Brody?
No, so here, I'll show you.
Oh, the copy of it.
So we're gonna take all the wording. We're just gonna scrape my website real quick, okay? So I'm literally just gonna take all the and then I'm going to copy, and then I'm gonna come into the model that I'm working in, and I'm going to paste it. Okay? This is a good way to do it, so again, it's got your knowledge. So you can always put in your URL too, that's a great way to do it, but not all websites allow you to crawl it. So you guys will figure out very quickly if your website's robot friendly, okay? Because if you go in here, put in your URL and it doesn't show up, then you're seeing how it works, okay? But literally just copy and paste it. It looks like it started to build out all the stuff already. Thank you for sharing. It literally outlined our stuff. So then so now that I fed it the data, Then I'm gonna tell it to put together an email that is specific to this target audience, and I want them to do this, okay? Because again, you could give them all this stuff, but if you don't make it specific to the target audience, we all know that that goes nowhere. Yep.
So if you have an account and you log in, can you enter your website in once, and then for all new chats, it's gonna?
That's a great
give it to you?
question. Did everyone hear that question?
No.
Okay, so Brian asked, if you created an account and you set up your website into there, would it save it forever? And would it just run off that knowledge? So, in the past, no, it hadn't. It is updating to the point where it's going to be able to remember past chats, okay? But to combat what he's saying right now, I'm going to teach you guys all how to build custom GBTs that will remember everything. So therefore, you don't have to rebuild everything. You're just going to come in here and build it.
You have to pay for this.
Yep, so that was a great question. So the payment on this is you gotta have the paid version. Just it's the $20 a month one. If you have the $20 a month one, you're good to go. The team version will increase your cost substantially. I started onboarding all of our team on there, and it's pretty quick. So I would encourage you to stick with the $20 a month one until you get pretty big with it.
I was about to ask you that question about the higher grade version. What's 200, like what would be the difference?
Yeah, it's so for instance, they get beta updates at the 200, which is great, but like I kind of like them to test the beta stuff before they give it to me sometimes, you know, and then if you're the 200, you are the beta tester sometimes. So like $20 a month for us is good. We've got like 12 team members on it now, so ours is like 20 times 12, but it's so much nicer than having, because you can have, like for instance, our team, I'll build a GBT for my team, and then they all can use it, and then like I onboard team members that way, they know our processes that way, because the system will only allow them to work within a certain framework. So it's, and those are all great questions.
So Mike, with me having multiple businesses, can I build a ChatGPT for each one?
Yes, exactly. And that was a great question. So like what we'll do today, we're gonna go through and build a GBT, and then you can build a GBT for every single one of for everything. Like for instance, our social media clients, I literally have a GBT for every single one of our social media clients. I've loaded in data from the last 4 years, it transcribes that data, and figures out what we should be posting to understand and get the best value out of our social media posts. So that's, and we'll get that all taken care of. Does that all make sense for everybody?
Hey Brody, you're saying like multiple accounts, like Mike, multiple businesses, right? Is that just one account?
I
you
would
sign
do
up for?
one account for your
just wanna make sure,
$20.
right?
Because you don't want to have to buy all these accounts. Buy one account, and you're going to build a custom GBT for each one of these. Imagine these GBTs as agents, okay, or employees. Imagine because I've built several social media employees, and you run off that kind of framework, okay?
So like if you have multiple businesses, you can set all those multiple businesses up in there.
On
Like
one
I,
account.
like I could do my city council stuff and, cause we all know I suck at English, so, you know.
Dude, Tanner, our designer, we gave him his own GBT because he does not write, like he's a designer, he's amazing with that, but writing emails is not his thing, so we created him a GBT so that he can just use that to email all of our
Are you
clients.
gonna show us how to set up more than one business under the same?
We're going to set up multiple GBTs today, and that's how we'll do the businesses. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Okay, we're good? Okay. So I think we kind of went through this already, but why is it important? We can do things faster, more consistent, scale, and make it extremely cost efficient. And I do want to preface this right now. Like, I want this to be extremely clear. AI will not replace people. It will not. People, I don't know if you guys have seen what's going on with social media, because everything is reverting back to the person. because everybody's doing so much just AI content, it's so obvious, right? So everybody's going back to the personal aspect. So it will not replace the people, but you can have it replace those mundane processes that people were having to do now before. But now you'll be able to get your person to be that account representative, because that's going to be the biggest thing. You know, I get tired when I get like a chat bot on the phone or something. All I want to do is 0, 0, I want to talk to a person. So just, I want to make sure that that's extremely, you know, out there. I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, it's going to replace everything, because that's not what I believe in. But I do think that this can take those processes that we all do on a daily basis and expedite those services like just way faster. Some of the services we've been doing this for is it goes through all of our emails and automatically takes care and categorizes them. Those are just a very simple example of what this could do. Does this make sense? Everybody good? Okay, so now we are getting into the fun part, okay? So this is the ChatGPT, okay? So there is OpenAI that owns ChatGPT, okay? So OpenAI is the company. That's why it's so important, is because I don't have to go in and tell it every single time what we need to do. Ashley, is it okay if I use, okay. I'm going to show you guys just a real quick example of a GPT, and then we're going to go in and start creating them, okay? Does that work for you guys? Okay. So this is a GPT that we created for Colonial Plumbing. Hang on. So what I did with this GPT, and I want to give you guys a live example of what we can do with this, and then we're going to go from there. So to start this GPT out, I took 4 years of Colonial Plumbing, Facebook, LinkedIn, Facebook and Instagram data, and put it into an Excel file, right? And I trained this model on those results. So like how many engagements that they had, how much reach they had, all of these different things, right? And then I told this model that I'm going to, the way that I'm going to prompt it is I'm going to say the name of a month on things. Like, so I can build one that's specifically for blogs. Okay. Okay, so again, what is a ChatGPT? It is a tailored AI assistant, personalized for your specific needs. It is knowledge integration, which is what we put in that data sources. So again, it's custom with data sources. And then, okay, we'll dive into API connections coming up, but this is where things get really crazy, because you can build GPTs. I could do an API connection, which basically means it'll connect to different systems. And I could have it, technically, I could have that GPT I just showed you guys use an API to go into Facebook and automatically post on our behalf. I'm not doing that because we check everything, because you don't always know. AI is great, but you don't know. So API connections are great. I'm using it for like this app that we're building right now. You can do it for, but it's a good way to take knowledge from other sources, bring it into this one data source, and then connect this out. Like we connect this, everybody in here with Tegrity Connect. This is how we do that, is API connections.
So just to, because Randy said something, it doesn't listen to you unless you're in it and actively pushing the speaker button correctly, correct? I mean, conversations you have.
He said he didn't trust me.
I don't trust any of them.
I'm just saying.
I mean, we all know Alexa listens. We all know Siri
Apple's getting
listens.
ready to pay money.
Yeah, they're about to pay money. So I would say yes. So yeah, I don't trust any of them. Don't get me wrong, I love all this stuff, but after I'm done with all this, I'm gonna go hang out in the middle of the woods in the next 10 years. So I will say that. And then the last is for easy development, just making it easy for shareable links. Because back in the day, and as far as like development and stuff like that, so it just makes things a lot, more intuitive that way. Okay, so this is the creation process. I'm going to come back to creation process because we're just going to build one, okay? We're going to build a few of them, make it good. Okay, the best practices though, be specific in what you want. If you don't want it to talk in a certain way, tell it that. So for instance, how many of you guys know like David Goggins or Gary Vee, right? Okay, so you do that, right? So let's say I'm putting together a post and then I said, hey, talk like David Goggins. It's going to talk like David Goggins. You could have it like, I remember we did one with Snoop Dogg, do some cool stuff with it, but you take people that the knowledge it would understand, and you can load it into it. Like we did a lot of different ones, but just make sure that you're looking at that. Use real world data. So this is where the data stuff comes in. I wish Brandon was here, our IT guy. He's awesome, but I am saying use your data sparingly because that they have their stuff, but I'm not going to upload customer card information. I'm not going to upload any personal information about customers. I'm not going to touch it. Like, no customers go into our system because I don't touch it. But I'm okay with teaching the model based off what we have. Like, for instance, we do a monthly blog article. So I'm just loading in our blog articles because they're all education. So now this thing knows how we talk, and then the method to troubleshoot those issues and stuff like that. Set clear boundaries. So this is really big. So all of our social media stuff, I immediately go in and say, do not do emojis because, oh my gosh, are they so, like, it's so annoying with emojis. It's like, you guys, we'll see it in a second, it just drives me nuts, but I tell it that. So for instance, if I'm gonna pan, so therefore it knows what to do in that. So that's where you wanna make sure that you're setting the clear boundaries. And then lastly, update regularly. So when we built that GPT for Colonial, what we did was the next 2 months, I just took that data and then filtered it back into it. So therefore, off the content that it created, it knows what worked and then we'll do better stuff going forward. So like if I just left it, we wouldn't have got the good data that's out there. And if you go into meta or just business.facebook.com, right? The Meta Business Suite, everybody, just simply download your posts. That's all you gotta do. Okay? Download your posts, do previous year, this year, and previous other year. Grab all that stuff, throw it in here, but that's how you get up-to-date information going forward. Okay? Okay, so these are some integration ideas. This gets a little bit technical, and if you guys have any questions on this, I'm gonna breeze over this, but if you guys have questions with this, just let me know. But we can get this thing to integrate in with your CRM services, with your Slack teams. Like for instance, if you guys are using Slack, you can prompt something, it'll run the code and do it. We can do forms and websites. So we're doing this big time with chat widgets on websites right now. So if you guys ever need that, we can take care of that. This is where the API stuff comes out. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, just let me know. I don't want to spend a crazy amount because like, this is where things like you got to grab an API code to talk to this and they all have to communicate together. But the possibilities are truly endless with this. Yeah, this is a good point. CRM systems are really cool too. So I just want to say this too. So if you guys ever have any questions for this, you know where I'm going to tell you to go, right? Go to ChatGPT, ask it how to integrate your stuff. It will tell you how to integrate it. And then just send me the screenshot and say, hey, Brody, do it. You know, like I got you. But like, this is a game changer with like, you know, it really allows you to take those systems, because I don't know about you guys, but I have systems that I don't use all the way. There are all these systems like CRM systems, all these things that it's like, man, I wish I could do this. Oh my gosh, I can, but like, we don't all have the capacity to do it. This is a great way to utilize those services you guys are already paying. Okay? Okay, so this is the last thing I'm going to talk about before we go and build one. We're going to build one together as a team, so we're all going to figure this out. But analysis paralysis is a real thing. It is.
What is that?
Analysis paralysis, dude, it's a real thing. So analysis paralysis is when you've got all these ideas and you want to do all these things and you got these things and you're grooving and just, how am I going to do this, right? One idea. Come up with the idea first. Figure out what the issue is. So internally, to be honest. We call them internal hemorrhoids on our team. And so anytime that we find an internal hemorrhoid, we put it into a chat and we figure out how to automate it. So figure out your issues. So like identify the issue. Our issue, let's just say, was social media content was taking too long. So we created the GBT to offset that. And then we hired developers or designers to help with the design aspect, right? So just pinpoint your issue number one. Because if you start down here, you will never get it done. You will never finish because these projects, they go.
So it's the name of a mental disease that I have.
Yeah.
Got it, okay.
Yeah, dude.
I think I gotta be in there.
It's like the squirrel, just squirrel, just like that's a real thing. But figure out what your goal is. If you can figure out what your goal is, that's the number one. And then put your goal in ChatGPT and say, this is my goal. It's going to give you a full outline of everything that you should do. And then put it back into it. Like, you'll see in a second. I'll show you this. It's nothing crazy, but
I'm so done.
so you identify, you build, you test. Because AI is a black box that not everybody understands yet. So like just I would definitely test and then improve with data. Okay. So at this point, I'm excited. So I think we're good. Yeah, try it today. So what we're gonna do today is, can somebody raise their hand and give me an issue that they're having in their business? Bring it.
Social media content.
Okay, so you guys.
Ending videos.
Ending videos. Edit. Okay. I'll get with you. So video stuff, we're going to use Opus Clip. Opus Clip is awesome for video stuff. Okay. Yeah, I just found that out. We can take like hour-long videos and it'll put it up into Reels. It's so sick.
Who gave you that?
Yeah. Opus. OPUS Clip. CLIP. And guess how I found that? ChatGPT. Yeah. Oh, and Randy and I were talking through it, and Randy reached out, and I was like, I immediately went to Perplexity and I'll just show you guys Perplexity real quick. Gives me an AI video editing software. So this is Perplexity, everybody. I definitely want you guys to check this out. So I just had it. I just said, give me a video editing software. So as you guys noticed, immediately it went and researched everything. So this is just for like as far as getting found online. That's my other nerd part that I really like. But this is huge for you going forward. It's not just on Google anymore. They're going to be looking at the yellow pages. They're going to look at Reddit. They're going to look at all these different things. So that's big. But this is how I was able to find the different systems. And you see it automatically builds it out. So any issue that you have, I use ChatGPT and I put Perplexity right beside it. I have ChatGPT out and kind of play them off each other is how I normally do it. Yep. It's just, so that was a great question. So it's a web and app. So I use, again, I nerd out on the search stuff, but like at this point, like literally I have on my phone, so I've got Perplexity, Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, Google, and Safari, because they all are different types of searches. Like different types and different ways to do it. And that's the way that people are going to be searching going forward. It's not just always going to be Safari. It's not going to always be Maps. It's always dependent on what your system is and what your business is. Okay? So that was a great question. And any systems you guys have questions, just let me know. I love learning about new AI systems. Like it's fun. Okay. So today then, on Bosch's point, we're going to build out a social media GPT. Does that work for you guys?
Yes.
Okay. I got to figure out how we're going to do the data real quick. So as far as the data, I'm not going to bring, I don't want to bring in any backup. Like, do you have the paid version? Yeah, okay, yeah. It's going to be your name. Yeah.
Okay, the name.
Yep. Top right. Everybody, yep. And then, do you guys see, it says My GBTs. Yeah, click on My GBTs, okay?
On the web page or the dashboard?
Yeah, I got you.
John's got one too. I'll send it to him.
But yeah, if you do that, yeah, right. And then my GPTs.
Look at
Okay.
secure.
So, yeah, okay. So there's multiple things here that I want you guys to see, okay? So, what you can do is you can come into the My GBT section, and this is where all of your GBTs are housed, okay? And the ones that are shared with you, okay? So like when we're gonna build this GBT, you have to give certain access to people to be allowed to use it. Right now, it is in a very early phase to where I just saw them recently updated to where you're gonna need a privacy policy if you send it out to people. Because I guess people were grabbing some information that they shouldn't have and stuff like that. So be prepared for a privacy policy if you guys are doing this kind of stuff, okay? And again, ChatGPT can build your privacy policy. So like that's what I would do with that. But okay, so does everyone understand where they're at with this, right? Okay. So what we're gonna do is, so did you guys hit create GBT? Everybody create the GBT? Okay, so we got two sides. Yeah, so, yeah, I got you.
You can find it, Brody.
Yeah. Do you have yeah. Okay. So you will have to have the paid version to get into the system. I think Randy's. You didn't pay for it? All right. Yeah, if you want to do it, I'll get you set up today. Just do the free version, and I get you guys all set up. And so while you guys are in this part, is everybody to here? Okay. So we got two tabs. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys a fun term that is this is kind of a newer term, but it's whatever. But you guys understand, you know, you can code, right? This is called vibe coding. So vibe coding is when you talk to the AI. So create is vibe coding, configure is going to be the technicals. Okay? Does that all make sense?
Configure was what? It's hard
So-
to hear back here.
Vibe coding. So create is going to be vibe coding. So you just talk to the agent. And what we're going to do vibe coding in a second, and you'll see it. We're just going to talk to it to explain what we want. That's so okay. So I'm literally just going to type this in. We are going to create a social media GBT for digital. Okay. So again, I'm talking to it at this point, right? So you can see it's updating the GBT. Okay, what? So it goes through this really annoying phase. The first two phases I think are pretty annoying. It's gonna make us name it, and then it's gonna make us do a photo, which is, it's like I just want to get into the coding, you know. But like, this is what it's gonna do. It's gonna update it. It's gonna run its model. Great.
So if you want to do one for the business, you'll say, I want to create a ChatGPT for.
Exactly. Yeah. And Mike had a great point. So if you want it to be for a specific business, you will say, I will create a GBT, like Trish, yours
I
is
did
gonna,
mine for B&T Towing.
exactly. And then you're gonna do the same thing for city council, but it's different. Because
Okay.
this one is for this specific task, okay? Like that's the biggest thing that you want to focus on with all these things. Okay, so look, it gave us a name, Sugar Beet Strategist, and it's like whatever. Like, but you can talk to it, right? Like you tell it, no, that name sucks. Let's do something else, right? So, but I'm just gonna run with it. I said perfect, because I know that it's gonna make me do a profile picture next, which is again annoying. I don't understand why it does it, but I can teach you guys how to update it because we're gonna do your name, and then what I normally do is the business will update. Like we normally put the logo in the top. It just makes it look nicer and stuff like that. But look. There you go, Basha. That's what they created for you.
I might get a lunch coming.
Okay.
I can't wait to see
Beans or rice?
Okay. So now we've got two options. Okay. we can either vibe code this entire thing, okay? So like imagine we're just talking back and forth with this bot, okay? We got that option. Does that, you guys all understand that option, right? Basically, I would literally just talk to the system and say, I need you to do this, and then it's gonna come back, and I'm gonna, and I'll show you a couple lines. So let's do, you are going to, I'm going to say this GPT will be solely for the purposes of creating full it will focus on here, and I'm just writing this out real quick, and I'll explain it. I want to show you guys how specific we need to be with this, okay? And we did reposting page for each platform. Still. Okay, so at this point, we're vibe coding this, okay? So I'm going to say perfect, because they gave us this crappy image. We're just going to say perfect, we like this image. But this GBT, so again, I'm talking to the GBT, and you can actually say by its name. It recognizes its name. So if you do it that way, you can take care of it. This GBT will be solely for the purpose of creating a full month of social media content. It will focus on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, with 3 posts each week for each platform, totaling 16 posts each month. Okay? And then I'm just going to hit enter. It's going to digest it. What's up? Right? I just want to see how this goes. So it's asking you questions here. It needs to know specific campaign. It needs to know all of this information. So again, this is where you're teaching it what it needs to go off of, okay? But, okay, so do you guys understand the idea of vibe coding now, right?
Yeah.
Like you basically just continue to do that. And then I would come back and be like, no, I need you to actually write the content. Don't question me. You know, like I need you to write the content. So that would be my next step, right? So that's vibe coding. Okay?
What is vibe coding?
Vibe coding is when you're talking to the AI to code. It's like, yeah, it's just like a conversational code kind of thing. Okay? So this next step is how, the next way that we can do this is how I do all of our GPTs, okay? You guys with me? So again, create is vibe coding, which is great, it works well. We're gonna go into configure now. Configure is when I get very specific on what I want, okay? So, okay, is everyone with me? Okay. So, I want to talk to you guys about what this is first before I dive into it, okay? So as you see in configure, we can change the photo here. So you see that? You can change the profile photo. So if you guys are sharing it with somebody, again, this is where I just take the business logo and put it in here. It makes it look nice and you can make it branded. That's a great way to do that. So again, this is the name, the description, and then you notice these instructions all of a sudden are pulled up, right? These instructions came from the vibe coding that you just did. But you'll notice these instructions are like this big. It's like, how am I supposed to get exactly what I want if the instructions are not detailed, right? So, what I do is I open up a second ChatGPT window, okay? I'm going to open up a second, so ChatGPT here, we're still building this GBT. Does everyone understand? Okay. So, but what we're going to do now is, I'm going to have ChatGPT create its own prompt to go back into ChatGPT. So, I need to create a
Combo number 6 with white. Strawberry number 6 with white. Combo number 6 with white. Ya me dejé la hoja de carne. ¿De carne la hoja? ¿De carne la hoja?
So at this phase, we have vibe coded the front end, right? To where it gave us a good one, right? It gave us a good, got some information there. Vibe coding is a good way to get off the ground, get things going. But what I'm gonna do, because I know that if I go into this configure phase and I add instructions, then I can get hyper fixated on what I want. So I just went into another ChatGPT window. I said, I need you to create a comprehensive ChatGPT instruction. So literally saying, I need you to create something that I can put into your own system. That will create 3 social media posts a week. And so you guys saw the other instructions. They're like this big, right? This one is going to be very extensive. And we can take this and then upload this back into the backend framework of the configuration that I just did. And we'll do that in just a second. So, there you go. And so what we'll do, so this is where we'll be able to update the instructions very specifically. Like instead of having, because like vibe coding is great, don't get me wrong, but it's like for instance, what you'll run into sometimes is like, hey, I need you to do this. And it's like, it fixes this problem, but creates another issue. So that's where sometimes you want to definitely walk through it with it, or use the instructions kind of thing. So what
Brody, the reason why you went to the second GPT was to get more details behind what you were doing?
Exactly, yeah. By going to the second GPT, I can grab I can have it from this versus giving me that very broad type thing. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, Trisha, you know here, copy and paste.
I am a pro.
And so what I'm going to do is now I'm going to come back into this backend instruction. So now, it should theoretically. Oh, so now it's telling me that I have to add the historical data. Let's see. So, in adding the historical data, which brings me to a great point. So you can't add the data on the front end, like in the vibe coding section, okay? When you add the data, you have to come into configure, scroll down. So you can, and we'll go through that in a second, but upload files, okay? This is extremely important because like you see it just barked back at me because I didn't upload the files yet. So, but let's see. Okay, so I just added some, I honestly don't know what yet. but it's, so this is gonna be in there now. But you can see this thing, like just to give you guys an example again. So configure is got the profile, the name, the description, instructions, but then also conversation starters. So this is going to be extremely helpful if you guys are doing stuff and maybe your clients don't know what to ask. You can give them a series of conversation starters so that they can ask, like just click the button and it'll automatically ask them. And we'll dive into that in a second as well. But so again, I uploaded the files. I wanted to have web search, canvas, 4.0 image generation. 4.0 image generation is insane, by the way. Like, our team of designers will literally take this now to give to clients, and then once clients say they like that overall design, then we'll custom build it. But like this thing, go to analytics and then go to posts, and they'll have all your posts. And you know how you can rank them by the ones that did the best and ones that didn't? Just you can hit export on like right there in Meta Business Suite. We use SEMrush.
I think I just started to build my content.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I did was
And that's so okay, so this is where things get that's a great point. So if you don't have 3 years of content to do, go find your worldwide competition. Find the best person that's doing what you're doing, download all their stuff. I'm not kidding, like, because it's still gonna take your voice and do it, but like I put it in there and I say, hey, make it like Gary Vee, and then it does the Gary Vee post, like it does those things. So you can literally analyze, because it's all public knowledge. Nobody, because they can do it to you, they can do it to everybody, but like literally figure out who you want to focus on and do it that way. That's, but you got to figure out like the best ways, because like Meta Business Suite isn't going to give you that type of stuff. So you're going to need, like, it'll give you your stuff, but like to get other, like you have to look at some other resources and stuff. I would take that I wouldn't do it, like don't obviously do it to anybody like in your local area. I would just kind of figure out like somebody that you admire and like kind of go that way. That would be best. Yeah. But like what we do is and then figure out what, because like we always want to know what the best way to make content is for all industry. So it makes it easier to understand. But yeah, and then you just go through, take care of this. So now that I've got that added, I can come over here. And it's going to put together, so it's searching the knowledge. Oh, there you go. But yeah, it looks like it took that, and then it built it, and it will automatically build it. Randy, this looks like when we were doing your GBT.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, it said, here's the calendar for that. But basically, so again, it takes all the data, looks at the engagement, because like when you download that information, it will have the engagement, it'll have the reach, it'll have the engagement percentage, which is huge to see what works and what doesn't. So it'll automatically have it in there, it will search the knowledge, and then it'll create it for you, okay? But one thing I definitely want to focus on, AI is not the end all be all. Like, I'm telling you, I mean, we've all seen those pictures out there where it's like, yeah, they've got like 8 fingers. Like, it's an obvious AI thing. So please, like, I'm telling you right now, like, this gets you 80% of the way, not 100, okay? So this is 80% of the way. You still check it, you still look through it, you still create your own design. That's a good way to do it, But today, especially on social media, just take a picture, use this for, maybe some content side of things, and then use the photos and stuff like that. So,
Do you have to teach it to different tone, like Facebook versus LinkedIn, or does it assume it?
So in my instructions, normally what I'll do is, okay, so like for LinkedIn, we're targeting these type of clients. And then like the more data you can pull from your Meta Business Suite and stuff like that, like I know like our clients, I'll look at it and it's like 65% is our target, like is our audience on these social platforms. And then I'll feed it into this and let it know the demographics of where we're at. So that, again, the more information you have, the more it goes into you. You know, so that's the biggest thing with all of these. But now we're at the point, so this thing literally just created this entire month of content. So it'll do all that, and then I hit create, okay? So I hit create in the top right corner. And then what I'm gonna have is I'm gonna have several options. So my options are to invite, I can have it to where it's an internal team GBT, so like nobody else can access it. And then I can set it up to where it's its own link that I can share to all of you guys, and you guys can use. Lastly, I haven't touched on this yet, but there's a GBT store that has 3 GBTs out there right now for all of you on here. Like literally, they've already built these things, they've deployed them, they're already there. Like it's good, but like I would use those for general things because it still doesn't have your data. So that's kind of the biggest thing. But you can build this way, you know. So that's a big thing.
So you were saying that was free, like the GPT stores, a lot of stuff in there is free?
Yeah, if you have the paid version.
So where do you think this is going in the future? Do you see this prices going up on all this as people get more and more into it?
Yeah, so what is going to happen? Like, and I see it. So Lovable right now is a development software that is going to. So GPTs are kind of like the beginning phase of what's to come, right? So agents are on the way. You guys know the Matrix? It's legit. Like the agents are legit coming, but it's it's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, so the way that I like to look at it is, when it's going to do all this stuff, Excel just made things easier. You know, so
Is it going to be like Terminator though in a couple of years?
I would say like 10, 15, I'm gonna be out of here. Like, you know, but I no, and I don't, you know, I think as far as that, like I am in nowhere near the person to talk on that. So like what I do say is just utilizing these services in your capacity, you know. So if you have an issue, go to Perplexity, type in, is there an AI system that does like, and Perplexity is going to give you all of them. You can go right to them, and more times than not, they're good to go. But to go back to Ray's point, right? So there's a system out there called Lovable, which I'm loving right now. It is the craziest thing, and it's insane.
What's the name of it?
Lovable. Lovable. Okay. So, John, do I have a second to?
You got plenty of time.
Okay. All right. So, if you guys want to go, okay. I'm really excited about this because Lovable's direction is kind of crazy. So, I don't know about you guys, but like for instance, I want to do something, I go to the App Store to download it, right? We're going to have personalized apps very soon. Like everybody's going to have their own apps. The apps are going to basically, like I built my own workout tracker, like in seconds. It's so easy now. Like all of these different things. I'm about to, now that we have time, I'll show you guys how to do it. But Lovable, their whole mission is for big companies to automate and build their own apps. It is insane, and this is what's coming. I mean, it's already here. We're using it for like custom development apps and stuff like that. But let's do. Somebody give me an app, like anything, like any work. You want a workout app? Okay. Build me. Okay, you guys see what I'm about to put in here, right? Alright. This thing is coding the entire thing. This is all code. Yeah, this is like, so it's literally writing the code as we speak. I'll
Are
show
you
you
paying
guys
for
the code
that?
here in a second.
Do you pay for that, Brody, or is that a free app?
So Lovable, I pay like, I think like $250 a month for this,
Okay.
but it's like, dude, they're gonna open it up to big softwares very soon. Yes. So we use Volt, which is a very similar system to do this online roof estimate system. And like we're doing it with an automotive center to where this app is gonna, I'm gonna embed it directly in the website to where it's gonna onboard all of their customers and set up their tracking systems through here. Like, and I get to deploy it. Yeah.
It would save their information, it allowed them to order, place orders as well.
Yep.
And then I can just say, hey, this is where profile, fill it, attach it to the app, so that payment can be received also.
That's where APIs. You guys remember APIs that we were talking about earlier? This is where APIs comes in very handy. So for the payments, we would integrate in a Stripe. Or, you know, and then your calendar, we would do an API from Outlook, an API from Google Calendar. Or like, for instance, like if you want to set up reminders, we would do like a SendGrid integration. So you're using these other systems and APIs to do these things on behalf, and this thing will do it.
Okay, first I want to say build it and they will come, but it was what popped in my brain. But now like, so like, you know my thing. So like, could I eventually like build an app that would take tow book and my credit card processor and all those things and make it into one?
Yes.
That'd be pretty freaking fresh.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's just APIs. It's just API calls. Like, so again, all of these things that you guys are saying, yes, we can do it. Like, I'm building an app right now that basically, so like I do a lot of runs. So like after I get done with the run, I go start my training program. Well, I built this app that I can take the URL from that run, put it into this system, it builds me a training program, and it will just automatically set everything up. So it's just whatever you guys want to do, it can be done, but you gotta think of the idea, okay? And I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, it's not the easiest thing like for everything yet, but like for instance, this right here is called Supabase, which holds all your documents, right? So like there's these different systems all working together to take care of it, okay? So it's, you know, it's definitely easy to do it, but you gotta make sure you're figuring it out. So like some of the most complicated things that you can do in here are gonna be API calls, which again is getting that information from these other sources, but then also data storage. So once you get those, it does kind of get like, I still take care of this. This to me was a precursor of GPT-5 that's going to be dropping, to where these GBTs that you're creating are going to go out and do tasks on the internet for you. That's what I see happening here. That's what's going to be happening. So like Trisha, somebody goes in, ChatGPT, I need a tow truck, I'm on the side of the road. It's going to go ahead and book through your system. You guys will get a thing, and the client won't ever have to do anything. How many of you guys have clients, younger clients, that don't even want to talk to you on the phone? They just, they're not even going to have to fill out a form very soon because of like the storage and stuff. And then I would upload like 50 photos, and then like we were doing another thing. So just be aware of your storage. So the key features are no-code setup, document upload, custom instructions, and tool integration. I think we've gone through that and belabored it enough at this point. So again, some live examples. Marketing assistant that creates social media calendars, communications, client follow-up emails. You can set up APIs, again, to where your client comes in, emails, you've already trained it, it can respond to your customers, it can respond to your team members, it's just the access you guys are giving it. Data analyst. I love the data analyst side of things. Same thing, like when we went and did that 4 years of data for Colonial, first thing I did was I put this into here and I said, tell me what the trends are. And based off the trends, we knew that people, their faces, one of the number one social media engagement factors. So if you have that person, that's a huge thing. But it took years of data and then just spit it out into a personal report that I was able to go back and utilize. And then lastly is customer support. So, and we'll talk about this a little bit, but we've built systems now that take the knowledge from a lot of our team members to where customers can reach out to us, and this thing will talk to them and teach things that I like to do and things that I don't like to do. So with, like for instance, social media was driving me nuts, so we created that. So I would really ask the stuff that's going to troubleshoot all the issues automatically, so none of the sales team has to even like ask the questions. Like it's not like you don't have to, like the sales team can go out and sell now instead of dealing with these issues that we all deal with on a daily basis. spaces. So it's like, that's how we can, so that idea right there was literally 2 GBTs plus a lovable application combined through API.
Meets the road, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and as you see real quick, it just built this entire system. So you just basically play with it. But you see, like, it'll break, and then you just hit fix, and it'll fix the code. But, all right, so where the rubber meets the road on this? That's a great question. And again, it goes into the analysis paralysis side of things. Like, now I'm just thinking of all these things it could do, because it's, the way that I like to focus on it, because every single one of us, okay, so my coach, Jared, said something to me that was so freaking helpful. He looked at me, the things, like, for instance, I don't want to automate myself as a salesperson because I like that side of things. So I would definitely focus first on those to really understand what you're spending your time on every day. Like, so we were spending like hours on social media every day. We were spending like all this time. So to give you guys an in-depth look at things, I would use it first off for a market analysis. Use these things for like ChatGPT. You could create a custom GPT to where, like, based off these factors, like, okay, hey, I want to go into this particular industry. If you want to add a new service, I think that would be a huge thing that we're going to do. And Tanya and I are going to be working on the business proposal GPT, getting all that, and that was a lot of fun to kind of work through. And so this thing, build it for you. I just did it for Integrity Connect. It just gave me a 25 email drip campaign that goes out 3 years with the clients. It wrote all of it. I was able to put it into the system. It automated those tasks for me and made it extremely easy to do that. So I would focus on, again, market analysis, analyzing, those kind of things, the trends that you guys have, but then also building out these drip campaigns. And then lastly, and this is something we can dive into later, but competitor analysis. It is extremely important because, so back in the day, so actually this is like 8 months ago, we saw a big, that everything was doing this. Like, it was just a steady line, right? We like to see a steady line because it doesn't freak me out. 8 months ago, it does this every single day now. Every single day is the algorithm, like how people are getting found online for search. So the competitive landscape is insane. So you need to be on top of what's going on in the market and stuff like that. Using a GPT, good job at it, so I'm not gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole, or I will focus on it. So I would say you can use these things for analytics, analysis, email drip campaigns is gonna be huge, and then also competitor analysis, just ongoing understanding what's going on with that. I think that's just added us for posting through SEMrush to get to here. So we're gonna be posting.
It told me the U.S. towing industry overview, the growth drivers, industry challenges, local marketing insights, down to because we're situated so well compared to the highway. So, and then it told me what I'm doing wrong. I mean, it's kind of like a mother.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah. It's
That was
crazy.
pretty cool.
And what I do is take that exact same prompt, put it into Claude, put it into Gemini, put it into Perplexity, see all of it. I literally will have all different AI systems up here, and those are all free too. You can use the free versions of those.
So once you create through ChatGPT and you get the content created, does it actually integrate into Facebook and Instagram and do those posts?
It will, so
I
API,
don't have to go in there and actually cut and paste it into those, right?
so it does an API call. So like basically you could do that. I would strongly recommend not. Just because I'm telling you, sometimes it'll put 6 fingers on somebody, or it'll, dude, the amount of times, like, so that's why I say this thing is 80%. Like, it'll get you 80% of the way. And also, based off my knowledge with social media, I would be very surprised if they didn't penalize people for that. Because like all they're trying to do is move back away from that a little bit. So like, for instance, even posting in Meta Business Suite versus like we use SEMrush, we're testing that out now and doing an analysis.
And I asked it for yourself.
That's what we always do. Yeah. What I do is I copy all of it. I put it in a Google Doc. I go through that Google Doc. I remove anything that I don't want to see. I like change it up through there. Then I go into Canva and then create a Canva. That was me. The designers are big about it.
Does it also allow you to integrate apps like say you're using a Excel sheet for doing something, and then you've got another application over here that you're doing something in, you have another application over here that you're doing, can you actually integrate the data so that
To
you
this?
don't have to like take one and import it into the other?
You can, that would be another, so we would probably do what's called Zapier or Make, and those are just integration softwares, and then we would do right to here. So it's like, that's where, so Zapier and Make are really great. Make is awesome. Make AI, they just came out with agents and stuff, but it's crazy what you can do. But yeah, check out Zapier and Make as well. That one's like, they're amazing what you can do.
Yeah, what I've noticed is some of the apps now, like I was able to get rid of these apps, but some of the integrations are charging you to be able to connect to them now.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Dude, all of them, yeah, and so that's where,
They charge
and that's
you anyway.
because a lot of them are starting to do that. So that's where you got to get, you know, you might get grandfathered in if you guys can get it done now, but just kind of test these things out, and, you know, 'cause, yeah, we ran into that the other day.
Can we create a GPT to pull the information from Shopify?
Shopify issue is I created a API credential and they made me upgrade. I did it on my account to test it out the other day. So like, yeah, that was a great point. So some systems are now making you increase to get an API key, okay? And another thing I do want to actually, I should have said this, do not give anybody your API keys. Like API keys are like passwords, don't do it. Because like for instance, if I gave you my API key and you put it on your system, and I'm getting charged hundreds of dollars because it's my API key. So like hold those close to the heart.
Anything we should stay away from that we're finding out is not, sounds good, is not good.
AI copy on websites is yeah, because that was a great point. But like in the beginning, everybody started like pumping out all these pages and doing all this stuff. But what we're finding is like we have one particular client. I think it was 4 months ago. There was a Google update that they just literally hit the ground. Like it was the craziest thing, and we had to figure out what it was. And it was the previous web developers literally did the entire website in AI, and Google was not happy. So what we do is we write all custom wording for all of our sites now. And honestly, I need to, like even our social media team, they'll take this stuff and they'll change some of the wording out, you know, to like, because there's AI checkers out there. So like if you go to a system, let's say that you put together a blog article using AI, but you switched out some stuff, go to the AI checker and it'll tell you how AI it is. So like if you would be like demoted for it kind of thing. So I would definitely focus on that. The AI generation stuff, or AI video generation stuff is great. But I mean, I think you guys probably had, it's not surprising that, so I used Gamma AI to build this entire thing, right? So I used ChatGPT to come up with the idea and then put it into Gamma and it did all of this. But I wanted to show you guys this. So look at some of these. Like, look at that. What is that? What does that say? No idea. Like, you'll notice subtle things on here. So that's where I want, and that's why I kept this in here, was because I wanted you guys to see, like, it will mess up so many little things. You know, like, for instance, this is not even wording. Not wording. So we work with a lot of people now that are running ads through here, which is great. You can build some cool ads, like, and we've done it. But be careful because it doesn't know how to spell for some reason in design. Like it's the weirdest. Like, yeah, it's just.
I've ran into the issue where after it creates me something, I tell them, hey, include this photo from the last one or spell this, and then they make a whole nother flyer.
It's like it's.
And then I have to reattach that. No,
Yeah.
use this flyer, update this one.
Yeah, and that's where you gotta prompt it. Custom GPTs, like, so if you build a custom GPT for that, it would remember it. And then you can put it into that upload file, say, I just uploaded this, use this upload file. And then once you're done with that upload file, get rid of it.
I just want to make a point with what you're saying about making sure we have our handle on it. I just went to a cybersecurity. They have floated people from all over the nation. I mean, it's really way cool. One of the things I thought was the most fascinating is that God made us so great that if it's AI in writing or on video, our response is neutral. They had children that thought it was their own parents, and so the technology is really good, except for the fact that if you see an ad on TV, you see something, and you're kind of neutral, but if it tugs your heartstrings, it's real.
Yeah.
And that's what all of us as business owners, we want to touch our market. We want them to have an emotional response. So that putting that personal touch on written and video is, people will figure it out. We don't need, doing the checks is really good, but your customers will know if you use AI.
And they'll laugh. Like my team, they're pretty rude. They're a team of designers, to be honest. So I tried to do one post for us on they destroyed it. Literally just, they deleted it, didn't let me even post it, and said like, no, like you can't do this. Like they'll do, because we do a weekly group chat or weekly meeting and stuff, and they'll do like, hey, did you see like that brand that literally dissolved after putting out that AI? Like, because there are some like big brands that are trying to do this stuff, and it is dehumanizing them, and they are losing market share fast. So you got to make sure that you're using it in a very targeted kind of way, because like we all know what an AI thing looks like. Everybody, like it's so obvious, like you can see it, so that's the biggest thing. So just like figuring.
Is there a way to like when you want AI to make you like a flyer or like whatever, can you tell it to use like your brand logo, like the colors? Because like, every time I do it, it comes out like just random. And
build a GBT for you guys, right? And then upload the file. In the file, do like a brand, and then just say reference the upload file. Okay. And then you'll be golden. Like that's because therefore, like that's the coolest thing about GBTs is that's the data it is. It's not going anywhere else. It's not coming up with anything else. It's not going to hallucinate anything. It's right in this section. So that's huge. One other system I think is huge, which we just got an intern, so I'm creating, but Notebook LM, okay? Notebook LM is awesome. Like if I was in school, like if I was still in college or high school or anything, Notebook LM, because you can download an entire textbook into that thing, and it will literally create questions for you. It'll do all sorts of stuff. So for our team, for onboarding new team members, we created our standard processes. We created our brand guide. We created our tone. We created all this stuff.
Yeah, I listened to a podcast that had a woman and a man going back and forth.
Yeah.
One of my real estate buddies fed it with information. They turned around and said, put a podcast together. So those two kind of talked at Rich Lemon. They talked it out, and you couldn't tell that it wasn't us sitting in a room talking.
It is so. That is
one more thing.
Yeah.
I think I was talking about that. I lost all my info because I didn't get saved. Can you run just like in the create or
in this one?
configure real quick?
Yeah.
Like where
Okay.
you go to save again? Like
So here, let me see yours. Oh, okay. So when you're here, and we'll just go through real quick and building it. So you come up here, top right. Again, you're clicking on this button, My GBTs. By the way, and again, I don't want to dive, again, depending on time and stuff. Tasks here is an awesome thing too. Like you guys, it is so sick. Tasks, it is so awesome. Like I look at updates, so like computer updates, right? Every Friday, I've got the app. So then, like for instance, if I ever need anything, I just go through, do that, and it's taken care of.
So if you've been using ChatGPT for a long time and now you have multiple businesses all mixed up because you didn't know you could have two separate GPTs, how do you, or is there a way to take like all of South Park or all of, whatever else and separate those into separate GPTs?
So what we would probably want to do is go through all of your previous ones, just download, literally copy paste that information into a Google Doc, and then we'll add that back into their own GPTs. Is how
Can we have a lesson on that part? Say for future knowledge, we can do this again, because,
Well,
And we'll have a quieter space next time.
I was just gonna say that.
But we can do some stuff, and I was thinking, and this is something our team was talking about doing, like a bi-weekly Zoom call, to where you guys can all hop on the call. I'll get my team on here too, like, and they're pretty smart with all this. So it's we can get all them involved. and we can just troubleshoot all day long. Like I would dude, that'd be so sick. And we actually have an AI group that meets in my office bi-weekly as well. So if you guys ever want to, we can do that. But I think
I'm
the
gonna
Zoom.
email you for that
Just
calendar.
and we'll get all of this stuff. I think the biggest thing is just decompress, figure out what you guys, what can be done, and what your ideas are, and then just blow up my inbox, and then I'll send it to the team, and we'll go from there.
You got